welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys 5 DIY summer decor ideas. All these things are super easy to make and you probably already have this stuff at home, so let's get started. First thing we're going to be making today are flower jars. So the first thing you're going to need is some cups. They could be clear, non-clear, it really doesn't matter. I prefer clear ones because you could actually see what's inside. The next thing you're going to need are some flowers. Most of the stuff I got from the dollar store. These flowers are fake, they're not real. And then I just got 3 different types, pink, white, and purple. And then the purple ones are a little bit different compared to the pink and white ones, but any ones work. The next thing you're going to need are some type of rocks. I have small ones and big ones. Personally, I prefer the smaller ones. They just look nicer. I couldn't find any white ones, but I got these blue ones. And then after that, I'm going to be using these white ones that I found. These are like the closest to my liking that I found, but any rocks really work. But as I said, I prefer the small ones. And then here's an example of pre-ones you can already get. These are a little bit more expensive compared to actually making them, which is a lot cheaper, and you get like more of the amount, but these are an option if you don't want to make them. And you're also going to need some scissors, and this is basically going to be cutting the wire off of the flowers because these flowers have wire inside them. So the first thing you're going to be doing is cutting off the stem at the bottom. A little tip I have for you guys is basically to cut a little bit and then kind of wiggle it back and forth. It can be a little bit hard to do, but eventually you get the hang of it. And I'm just doing this to all the flowers. And this is garbage, as I just showed you guys, that was the extra stem. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the pink and the purple ones. This is the part where basically you're going to start planning it out. So right now I'm just planning out what my flowers are going to look like. Just play around with it, see what you like. I decided to do all 3 types in one jar. The other jar I did purple and pink, and then the next jar I did purple and white. One quick thing I want to say really quickly, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but I did change my editing app for my voiceover because my other one made really weird sounds when I was doing my voiceover, so hopefully this one's better. Anyways, now I'm just putting them in, and then after that I'm going to start putting the rocks in. By the way, I just twisted the wire because it was too long, so if that happens, definitely do that. But now I'm just filling it up. Always put the flowers in first and then the rocks. I tried taking out the flowers, putting in the rocks first, and then putting the flowers on top, but it didn't really work. The rocks were kind of stopping it. So yeah, just fill up the jar with rocks around it, figure how you want it to look, and then after that I'm going to be doing the other ones. Here's the final product. Moving on to the second DIY, we are going to be making fruit jars. These are super cute. Sorry if I say cute a lot in this video, but I decided to go with pineapple and watermelon. So you're going to need some jars, some paint. These are the colors that I'll be using. And yeah, any colors really work, but since I'm making pineapple and watermelon, those are the colors that I used. Now I just need a palette. Next thing you're going to need is a cup of water. It could be room temperature. This is basically just going to get the paintbrush just a bit wet. And then I just have a paper towel. Whenever I paint, I like to just have a paper towel with me. And these are the brushes I'll be using today. I didn't use all of them. Now I'm going to take my white paint and just put it in the palette. The white is going to be used for the watermelon and pineapple as like a base. I did 2 coats of this. Now I'm just wetting my paintbrush to just get it a little bit wet because it was really dry before. And I'm just going to take my white paint and paint it right on top of the jar. As I said, you do need 2 coats unless your paint is super thick. To be honest, I should have waited a bit longer for this to dry because it was not all dry, and that's why you will see it didn't really come out. It came out well, but I could have let it dry a bit more so the colors didn't mix as much, so definitely let the paint dry. I was very impatient and I only waited like 5 minutes. Wait longer for your paint to dry. Now moving on to the second coat. Now I'm getting my paints ready. So basically I am taking all the colors. So I took this dark green and I added a little bit of white because I needed one of them to be lighter. If you can find a light green, that'll be good, but I just made it a little bit lighter. Now I'm going to take the pink for the watermelon. These colors are all for the watermelon. And then I'm just adding a little bit of white to make it a bit lighter. And I'm just adding some yellow for the pineapple. And then after that, I'm going to be adding a little bit of black for the seeds of the watermelon. I went back and forth with the watermelon and the pineapple, so when one was drying, I was doing the other one. Anyways, I'm just doing the watermelon first, so I'm taking this dark green and putting it all around. And by the way, I did 2 coats of pretty much each kind of like paint section. So I did 2 coats of the green and then 2 coats of the lighter green and so on. Now moving on to the pineapple. Sorry if it's a bit confusing that I'm going back and forth, but now with the pineapple I'm taking my yellow and doing 2 coats of this. Now I'm taking the lighter green for the watermelon and doing a very thin line right underneath the darker one. And this is kind of going to represent like the green part of the watermelon, if you know what I'm talking about, kind of like the lighter part. And yeah, I did 2 coats of this as well. Now I'm going to take the pink and just paint it on. This is the same thing for the watermelon. I'm just continuing it and I'm painting it 2 coats of pink, and technically watermelons are red, but I decided to do pink because I just thought it would be cuter. Now with the pineapple, I'm making kind of this zigzag line for the, what do you call it, like the part that sticks out kind of. So I'm just painting that in the dark green and I'm letting the watermelon one dry. I decided to do the seeds of the watermelon in paint and then the pineapple kind of like sparks in Sharpie. Paint or Sharpie works. Now I'm doing the seeds with the paint and then after that I'm going to let it dry. I just rewatched that clip. I said sparks instead of spikes. If you know what I'm talking about, like the prickly parts on the pineapple, that's what I was talking about. Now I'm taking the 2 jars, they're already dry, and I'm just going to take my permanent marker and make little triangles going downward on the pineapple to represent the kind of like texture. And then after that, I'm going to take some Mod Podge. I have these 2 different types. I really don't know what the difference is. I was reading it and it doesn't say what the difference is, so let me know if you know what the difference is. And I'm just putting it on and it's basically going to give it like a clear finished looking look, if that makes sense. It basically just kind of gives it like a clear look, as what I just said. But I really like how this turned out, and yeah. By the way, I also did 2 layers of this Mod Podge and I did not wait for it to dry in between. I just did it 2 consecutive times. By the way, for those jars, you can put anything you want in them. I just put school supplies. Anyways, I'm making this desk calendar next. The things you're going to need are some water, a paintbrush. One of the paintbrushes is for the Mod Podge, and the second one is for paint. By the way, I use the same thing on the other DIY, and I'm just using one of the Mod Podges since I don't know what the difference is. And I just took a palette for my white paint that I'm going to be making the base, I'm pretty sure. I just have these wooden trays that I got from the dollar store. They came with 3 different sizes, but I'm going to be using the biggest one, and then I'm going to be using the second biggest one for another craft after. Now I'm going to be using some hooks. You can use any hooks you want. I just found these square ones. Now I just have this tag. If you can get a whole bunch of them, that'll be great, but I just have this stencil and I'm just going to trace it out for the rest of them since I could not find any in the colors that I wanted. And then you're going to need some type of stickers. These stickers were so bad, so I had to go get some different ones after. But just get stickers that stick on the paper because for some reason those ones didn't. And then I just found these other decorative stickers that I wanted to put around it. If you want to like make it kind of fun. And then I just need a pencil and scissors. So first you're going to take your white paint and pour it in the palette, and this is basically just going to give it a color, like a base, because I didn't want to leave it wood. So you can do any color you would like, and I just put 2 coats of this as well, and I did the flat of the inside, the edges of the inside, and the edges of the outside, but you do not need to do the back. You can if you want to, but I decided not to because it's going to be facing the back of my wall. I just want to mention that I know this video is called summer decor, but this honestly could be used like throughout the season. It doesn't really matter. They kind of are just like more summer colors. Now I'm taking my hooks and just getting 3 and just laying them out. After that, I'm also going to need a glue gun because I tried screwing the screws into the wood, but the wood was not letting me do it, so I had to use a glue gun. Now I'm taking my Mod Podge and doing 2 layers of this. Actually, no, sorry, I actually did 1 layer of this. While the tray is drying, I'm going to move on to the tag parts that you want to call them. I don't really know what to call them, but I'm just going to call them the tags. And basically I'm doing the months in green, and I'm going to be using 6 cards for this. And the reason why it's only 6 is because it's going to be double-sided. I'm going to be using both of the sides. And then for the numbers, the 1-digit and the 2-digit numbers, I'm going to be using 7 in total. So I'm just drawing 7 of these out. Then I'm going to cut them all out, and then after that I'm basically going to be using this hand hole puncture to make holes for it to go through the hooks. And now I'm taking the tray and just figuring it out how to space them out pretty much. I don't want them to be touching while they're hanging, so I just kind of measured that out. I left like, I would say, half a centimeter in between, and this is where I tried to screw in the hook, but it didn't work, so I took my glue gun out and I basically just glue gunned it. Now there was a little bit of a screw part that was sticking out, but it actually kind of worked in my sake because it kind of stops it from going over. And then after that, I'm going to just let the glue dry a little bit. This is what it looks like after the glue is done and the hooks are on. And now I'm going to show you guys basically the months. So these are all the months, and on one I have January and February. Then on the other side I have March and April. Sorry, that's a separate one. Next, May and June, July and August, and I kind of ran out of the uppercase J, so I just used the lowercase one, but it still works. So July and August, and then September and October, and November and December. So I'm just going to take all of these and put them on the first hook. I'm moving on to the 1 digits, if that makes sense. So basically on one card, you're going to be having 0 on one side, and then the other side is 1. So that's on one tag. And then the second tag, you're going to have 2 on one side and then 3 on the other side. And then for the 2-digit, like the second side, well, it's actually the last side, you basically have 0 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7, and 8 and 9. So those are basically the numbers that are kind of on the same cards, and then I'm just putting them, hooking them all on the stand basically, and then doing the same thing for the numbers. Hopefully that all made sense about which numbers go on which cards. If you have any questions, comment them down below. I will answer any questions that you guys have about this. Now I'm taking these decorative stickers. This part is optional, but this basically just make it like more summery. I'm just taking like some stickers and putting them on, and then I took some words that kind of related to like the day, and I kind of put those on too, just to give it a bit more like fun, I guess. And that's basically what it looks like. Fourth DIY we'll be making in this video is a confetti tray. This is honestly super cute and a little touch to your room. I really like this DIY. The things you're going to need are a tray. This is the medium tray that I used, some confetti. I have these heart ones, some Mod Podge, and some paint, and then some paintbrushes, and some water, of course. Now I'm going to take the white paint and put it on just like I did for the one DIY that I just showed you, that desk decor. The same type of thing, putting the white, and then after that I'm going to do Mod Podge on top. But first I'm just going to let the white dry and cut some confetti while I wait for it to dry. And I'm just cutting little like squares and triangles, I guess. And you can honestly already get pre-cut circles of confetti, but I just had this from, I think, a vacation I went on, and I collected it, so I just used it. Now I'm taking 1 layer of Mod Podge and just spreading it on. I only did 1 layer, but you could do 2 if you want. And then I'm just taking the confetti and kind of spreading it on top, just kind of fixing it how I like it. And then after that, I'm going to put a few layers of Mod Podge on top of this, just to make sure that when you touch it, it's all smooth and you don't feel any of the confetti. For the second last DIY, we are going to be making calming jars. I was actually going to make this a separate video, but I decided to put it in here. First thing I'm getting is just jars. You can use any type. I got these spice jars because they leaned over, but you can honestly just get any jars you want. Next, you're going to need hot water. Make sure it's hot but not too hot. And then I'm going to have glitter glue. You can use any color of your choice, and then you can also add additional glitter if you want, but I didn't have any. And then you're going to need something to stir it with, so I just use popsicle sticks. And then you're just going to need a glue gun to seal it up just to make sure that none of it comes out. The first thing you're going to do is basically add water into your jars. Just be very careful with the water because it is hot. I'm just making sure when I tilt it, I like the way it looks basically. And a little tip for you guys, do not add too much glitter glue because the silver one, that jar had too much glitter glue and it did not really make the effect. So I would say add glitter glue, just not too much. And then I did the blue one and the red one. I'm just squeezing it into the jar. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and press the subscribe button because I worked really hard on this video and I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for 100 subscribers. I am so thankful for all you guys and just thank you so much. Anyways, back to the video. I'm just stirring up the glue in the hot water and yeah, just mixing it all up. After mixing the jars, you can always add a little bit more glitter glue or water if something doesn't look right. But now I'm basically just going to seal it up. I just took some glue. You can use any glue, like super glue if you want, but I just use hot glue. And this is basically just going to seal the jar up. And it's basically just going to make sure that nothing falls out because we don't want any disasters anywhere. And this is basically what it looks like. You guys can see the silver one is not moving because I added way too much glitter glue, so don't make that mistake. But now we're moving on to the Popsicle Garland. This is actually probably my favorite one because it's actually the simplest and it's probably the cheapest too. So these paint chips I just asked at the store and I got them for free actually. I don't think you have to pay for them. And then I just have some yarn and you can use even string if you want, it really doesn't matter. And then I just have popsicle sticks and these are basically going to act as the sticks for the popsicle. And then I'm just using the glue gun. So the first thing I'm doing is basically just taking my stencil, just draw out a stencil of basically what a popsicle looks like. You can search it up online if you don't know how to draw one. And I'm just going to trace that on all of them, cut them out. Make sure you basically put it around the same place because the white lines kind of want to line up around the same. Some of them didn't really line up, but as long as they're close enough, that's good. And then after that, I'm just going to trim them, go back, and just make sure I like how they look. And then I'm basically just taking my popsicle stick and putting it halfway, I guess. Putting them all around the same. That's kind of like the key that you want to keep at the bottom to make sure they all look the same, because when you put them up, you want them all to look the same, not different. So just put them in the same spot, and that's basically how it came out. I put them in rainbow order, and I think it came out really nice. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give today's video a big thumbs up. Press that red subscribe button down below. Don't forget to turn the little notification bell right beside it because that notifies you every single time I upload a new video because I don't want you guys to miss out. I upload videos every Sunday at 1:30 EST. I'll have it right up here in case I missed anything. But yeah, don't forget to share this video with any of your friends or your family or anyone who you think will like it. If you guys recreate anything in this video, please tag me because I'd love to see your creations and I'll definitely repost them back. Both of my handles will be up on the screen. I have an Instagram and a TikTok, whatever you guys post on, or you can just DM me if you guys don't post that much. And yeah, definitely follow me on both of those because I've been posting a lot. One quick note, I literally can't remember the last time I filmed something sitting on my bed. It's been such a long time that I've done a sit-down video. If you guys want to see a Q&A video or any type of sit-down video or a haul or something, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I might pick your video idea to do next. And yeah, I just love my LED lights in the background today. I went with a yellow green I can't even talk. A yellow-green summer theme, so I hope you guys like it. If you guys want to choose the color of my next video background, definitely follow me on my Instagram because I'll have polls going up on there asking you guys what color I should do my background. And yeah, I have my LED lights and then I also have my diffuser right over there. So yeah, if you guys ever want to choose in my video, definitely follow me on there because I'll be posting little polls on there for you guys to answer. I think that concludes today's video. I will see you guys next time. Bye!